Yo, what's up?
What's going on, fellas?
Good evening, good evening.
So you got that check down,
What's up,
check
y'all?
off, checker?
I'm trying
Check
it's
her out.
not- What's going on here?
HH tell you if he hears you. He's cool like
Does
that.
he hear it?
He'll tell you. He'll tell you. He'll shoot you straight. He's
Oh,
not
here's
one.
our ad. All right,
Pay the
there.
bills.
Got the ad.
There we go.
Oh yeah, got a little lingerie in the ad. So it's the whole ad.
How about that?
Have to do the whole ad.
Well,
We do get paid. Let's skip that part.
Don't crunch ice on there. God, I'm
All right.
about to climb under the poker table and
I
punch
hear
myself
stuff.
hard in the private.
Y'all good?
that's
What's up,
going to be
Eric?
great for the...
James. AGH again for the second time tonight.
Yeah, he's pulling a double shift. He hit us on the high school show, and now he's got us on the pros. Appreciate that, man.
Man, you're coming in crisp and clear. I like it.
Oh, that's T. Well,
I gotta turn that down.
or just... Yeah, turn it down.
I will. Okay.
Eric Anderson, AGH, James Rainey, appreciate your help.
Such a great squad. We
James
have such
is-
a great
They are.
squad.
They're a great squad.
He is helping us do some graphic stuff, and we appreciate it. If anyone listening or
Yeah,
watching
James.
JT.
interested
In the house.
we can get some
Here. I just-
business. If anyone wants some pulled pork, John Tier is your man. If any, is Eric Anderson the one out there like basically like lassoing in viewers and people out on Twitter? Is he the one being like, "Hey, so and so, you love the Redskins? Check us out."
Yeah, your PR game is good.
Dude,
thank you, Eric.
so very much. That's
Yeah, man.
awesome. We appreciate that. You are trying to. I think you're succeeding. I've been watching more. I know that much. I mean, it's working here.
You're doing it,
I
man.
almost never watched before.
Hook,
and here I
line, and
am.
sinker?
I've been watching almost every single show.
Yeah.
Ever since he started really, doing a good job. Let's get things started
No,
with some
yeah,
music.
our basement posse is sick. I love it.
This is a base. That's a good term for us.
All right, here we go. Where's Ricky, by the way? His new, he's missing.
He's flighty.
I know, but I'm looking for him. I know the guys are looking for him. They had a great time with.
He was
with
recruiting.
Brink
He
last
was
week.
recruiting the local courts for us for our summer league squad.
I think to anyone watching, someone mentioned, hey, how do you comment, during the show? Because we are doing a much better job of incorporating folks that are part of the show in commenting. I think I want to say, a Google account, Gmail, or whatever you can sign in should come up as whatever that is. Someone was asking me about that. Anyone can watch it for free, obviously, but to be a part of it,
The way you do it, once you are on, if you're watching and you can't figure out how to chat, you create your own channel. You're not really doing anything. You're just clicking that button so it can recognize you when you're on, so you can chime in. So just
So you
click
can
that,
talk that
create your own
ass.
channel.
that's our IT department working out.
There you go.
What's up, Wade? All right, here we go.
Nice.
Thank you so much for joining us on yet another Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports and Basement Podcast Studios all over Kensington, Maryland, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Tim Strachan.
Yes, it is. Great to be back, guys. Disney was awesome. Family had a great time. We all had a great time. But I'm ready to talk some football, man.
I don't know why I have to say that fast. I don't need to say it fast. He is Kevin Ricka.
That was slow, and I'll take it nice and smooth. Listen, man, I'm fired up as hell. I think our team's going to surprise some people out here. So let's talk through some of the issues. Let's get them all straightened out so we can solve them for the guys in charge. They just need to tune in and listen to us. We'll be fine.
That's right.
At least listen to the basement posse, because we got some guys here that know what the hell's up.
People will shoot you straight. We appreciate Hogs Haven. We welcome anyone from Hogs Haven who's given us a checkout through the website and through our SB Nation connections. The Audible is the official Redskins podcast for Hogs Haven. First Amendment Sports is what you hit to subscribe to get this free of charge Tuesday Gem on a weekly basis. Please join us, hang out with us, talk some Redskins. let's get it started. The kind of the genesis of our basement conversation kind of starts in the comment section of the six pack on Monday.
Very sappy six-pack, man.
Well, and I want to get to that, but I just also want to say, obviously, we'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about. We'd like to dive into, get our toes wet with a little six-pack stuff. And in the regular season, it's just obvious, what we're going to be talking about. I think the Andrew Luck news, I don't think people are ready for it. I don't know if it's like politics or getting the best of people or what's going on in the world. All of a sudden Andrew Luck retired, and it was all anyone talked about. I mean, at least maybe that's just my circle, but I heard people talking about it who aren't football people, who I would not otherwise talk. When I walked into church, the first thing Father Hugh said to me was about Andrew Luck before church. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, man, I'm going to mention this because it works in perfectly with what he was saying. And he was right. But that's surreal when on a Sunday morning or you're in the supermarket and you're hearing random people talking, whatever you hear random people talking about, those are the stories of the day.
I love that you were at church in the supermarket because I was actually at the bar.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying
on
there.
Sunday morning.
No, this happened on Saturday evening.
I know. Well, during the DeMatha
when the ticker came on.
Yeah.
Oh man, people went into a panic. There was a frenzy, but I didn't.
The reaction
really?
was weird.
It was weird.
I think
Why?
the in-person fan, the fans there, I think it was the timing of getting it and how they got it and all that set them off.
And they were liquored up around me.
Right.
Yeah.
That I get. It hopefully after a day people can actually take a breath, sober up a little bit, and realize,
just one day.
This guy can he's allowed to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't really affect you that much, but apparently it is. In the national conversation outside of football, that ties in the whole concussion thing, which, look, it is an issue. I know it's an issue, but football is the victim here. There are other sports. Girls soccer outpaces
Concussions.
in concussions.
Girls gymnastics has more
you can
injuries.
get a concussion on the playground worse than you can playing Little League football.
I fell down the steps late
This is
Saturday.
why it's part
Also
of the
got a
conversation.
concussion.
This is why it's part of the conversation, and the people who are against or anti-football or anti-concussion or however you want to put it, they're feeding it.
Sure, and I tried to stay away. I didn't mention concussion.
It's screwing up our game.
It was the concussion thing part of the concussion problem though. Is that the NFL lied about it to their own players for a long time. That's a little that aspect of it, but that doesn't make people more or less injured. To me, I want to say that the Andrew Luck thing isn't even about concussions. The Andrew Luck, his body is just breaking down.
Yeah, you don't get concussions in your shoulder.
Yeah, or your ankle.
Right.
Or your calf.
He was sick of rehabbing.
Yeah.
You know what? He's a smart-ass guy with a degree from Stanford who loved education, and he's got $1 bazillion, and who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I know.
You're going to boo this man? He's freaking smart. He's doing his thing. Yeah, I wouldn't boo another man in another profession. What do we have to do with it? Shit.
I don't get it. I found it to be appalling, and in that moment, as a Redskins fan, I've seen Philadelphia fans boo Santa Claus. I've seen them boo their own guys, and it's almost like at this point they're
I've seen
booing.
him eat a piece of turd, man.
Yeah, they eat turds.
I saw it.
Done that,
They do eat turds.
Yeah.
This was different. This was like you're talking about a guy who I think is, and don't think it's a stretch to say he's in the middle of a Hall of Fame career. He's 24,000 yards, almost 200 touchdowns.
Four-time Pro Bowler.
Four-time Pro Bowler. If he plays 3 or 4 more years, he's gonna have the numbers. You'd like to see him be able to put a little bit of scratch, a chip or at least a championship game, under his belt. But from a numbers basis, he was regarded as a with again that processor we talk about. He was one of the best at it, and he had the physical attributes to back it up. So. People outside of the Colts universe can honestly look at a guy and say, man, it's a shame that we're not going to be able to watch that guy anymore. But he doesn't owe us anything. Andrew Luck doesn't owe us anything. It's not.
Stop the madness.
I will say
What
this:
in God's
Andrew
name is
Luck
wrong
did
with
play a
people?
role in the creation of this podcast.
Okay.
Because
that's true. That's
the
true.
genesis being that Kevin
Or
and
our
I,
grouping, yes.
Kevin and I, lifelong friends, have had plenty of debates and arguments about
Everything.
things. Football being one of the bigger topics of the discussion. had a debate over who was going to be better, RG3 or Andrew Luck.
Real quick, can I interject? We were at a Christmas party that Ken Marangola was present at, and we know Ken, but we weren't exactly as close as we are now at that particular moment in time. 4 years ago, we're talking about?
Yeah.
And
2015,
yes, so
2015.
proceed.
Kevin finally admitted after about, what was it, 2 years? I could say we'd been having this discussion for 2 years at the time. Kevin admitted that I was right. At the time, none of us thought that RG3 would have a longer career than Luck.
Which is also a terrible way to look at it because I just said, listen,
that
all right.
debate that he and I had is really what we always kept saying.
We should do a show. We should do a show.
Well,
We should do this on the show.
Well, hold on. Ken overheard it,
So we do owe Luck
came
something.
over to T and I, and was like, "Hey, listen, is this really happening? Were you two going at it?" Because T turned around and said, "Everyone gather around. Kevin Ricka admitted he was wrong
Well,
about
that
something."
was the first and only time you've ever done it.
Yep.
Seriously. Fair enough. Hey, listen, if that's what got us down here.
Yeah.
I pulled an AGH
So-
on that party, if
so
I
to
recall. I think I
Andrew
left
Luck.
and came back.
To Andrew Luck,
You
to his
absolutely-
career.
Yeah, it's Andrew Luck. Oh, yeah,
there you go.
Nasta.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Godspeed.
And
Good luck.
And God bless. Yeah, man, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great. T.Y. Hilton's response, I mean, they love him. Guy gets booed off the field in Indianapolis. Get your head out of your ass, freaking Indianapolis. What are you doing?
I hate it.
You know what the
I
problem
hate
is
it.
also with that? It's not the right fans in Indianapolis. It was the wrong ones. It was the liquored up guys sitting there at the bar.
Preseason fans, I've long talked
right.
about preseason
Yes,
fans.
yes,
When FedEx
yes,
opened,
yes.
the RFK people got priced out of FedEx, but the RFK people started coming back for preseason games, and it was the greatest. I think the right people are there in the preseason for the Redskins. In this case, these are not the season ticket holders. These are guys who are getting tickets for free for the most part, because that's what preseason games are worth. Everybody,
As John Tier would say, buttholes.
they were buttholes.
Yeah.
But it also made me think about Jordan Reed, and Jordan Reed's been in the news, and there's nothing concrete about Jordan Reed retiring, nor is that what we're
Say he's going to be
reporting.
ready for game one.
Of course he will be. Of course he will be. But he got rocked in the head, and that is a concussion issue. But it's more for Reed. It's more like he's been hurt, he's been banged up, and he's at that age, and you start to think to yourself, he's the kind of player who I think might think about things a little differently.
Enough is enough, maybe.
Maybe I don't know. I don't think that's what he's going to do.
Because the
I was
difference between
surprised-
protocol and the actual injury. That's
Yeah.
all. We don't have that information.
Yeah.
If they said he had a severe concussion, then we could have a different conversation.
That's right. But I thought it was.
I
go
was
ahead.
surprised you didn't make the analogy to Trent. More so
Trent,
in
but
that.
Trent's not done.
Well, more so in that if the situation with Trent, if it's all about money, shame on Trent. If it's all about his health, who are we?
There's nothing you can do about it if it's all
Right.
about his health. I think that he, if he lines up,
We need to
if
move
he's
on.
healthy, but I think if
Whether
he's healthy,
he
he's
goes
the
or
best
plays for
left
somebody
tackle.
else because he doesn't trust this organization for his health, or
That's-
maybe
yeah.
his health issue is something to the extent that he doesn't play football again.
Or maybe he doesn't play football for a
Although
year.
they came out today and said he was fully ready to rock and roll and he
Yeah.
would pass any
I
physical
heard that.
anywhere, and that was his people let certain authorities know to let everyone know that that's the case. So who knows, man. But I agree with you. If it's about health, who are we to ever give it?
That's right.
We're not part of that family. We're not part of that the dependency. We don't have his little kids. Trent Williams got young babies and blah blah. All someone else's conversation. Look, fans need to be fans and just all right, put the bottle down and
Yeah.
let the ridiculousness go.
You know what? If a good way to be a fan in light of this news, that I think is find your buddy who drafted Andrew Luck in fantasy and have your fun, because to me that's hilarious. Especially when there was a draft that happened with a bunch of my buddies that ended 20 minutes before that banner came across the ESPN, which I think is hilarious. I love it. I think it's amazing. And that's the world we live in. And a lot of people. And you know what? The other thing is,
Fantasy football humor is a tad bit off.
well, I mean, it's like a safe space to relish in terrible news. I mean, no one wants to be happy about
mean
Andrew
like-
Luck being hurt. But I want to love the fact
Are you
that
talking about
that you
Facebook?
guys- no, I'm not a Facebook guy, as you know.
I'm going to make you a page.
Maybe,
Can't wait.
maybe I just think you can take some satisfaction in the fake world, which is fantasy football. I don't know. Maybe I'm still a bad guy, put.
I don't think you're a bad guy. I just think that
Poking the wound.
it's just an odd humor.
So
It's a one-off.
Speaking of the line, the guys on the board right now are discussing the O-line. Some are really concerned about it. Some think that maybe it's just a matter of them solidifying a little bit before the season gets rocking.
I like that perspective because I'm an optimist.
This is assuming
obviously.
Trent is not here, correct?
Yep.
At this point, we're assuming that for sure.
I don't think you can assume anything else at this point.
Nope.
Because we don't know anything else, and nothing else has been. We're not privy to any of these conversations. So.
It's the biggest story.
Jay said he's not getting traded.
It's the biggest story, and it's not our highest topic to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
It is weird
It's the biggest story.
because we got a game here in what, freaking 12 days?
Yeah, less than 2 weeks.
Right. So that's
Well,
exciting.
Mr. Penn, it's time for you to take.
But think about that, T. We're a fan base
Take the
that
step
grabs terrible stories by the ankles and holds on for dear life until every last
Yep.
speck of it has been eked out. And we are, I can honestly say that Trent
Ankles.
Williams, just I don't know, just like
we grab both hands on both balls and pull as hard as we
never
freaking
let
can.
go like a snapping turtle in a lightning storm. And this one, we're kind of like, you know what? I think we got this one covered. He's just not freaking playing for us in 12 days. So
Snapping turtle.
Move
lightning
on.
Storm.
sorry, I don't know what I got there.
I like it.
I'm proud of us. That's to say, I'm proud of us. So
I agree.
let's talk about a decision that was made about week one within the last 24 to 48 hours, and that's Jay Gruden naming Case Keenum the starting quarterback for the beginning of the season. Do I think Case Keenum starts 16 games? Maybe, but probably not. I would love for Dwayne Haskins to get some starts this year. I don't know how that happens. I love talking about the ways that it could happen. I don't want Case Keenum to get a spiral fracture in his leg. That's for darn sure. I'd love to see Colt McCoy be available.
Damn gentlemanly of you, Ken.
Thank you.
You got
Thank
it,
you.
man.
See,
You
here
got
I
it.
am. But
It's sick enough, though. I'd rather see it
Sensitive
happen to
bastard.
him than to Haskins.
okay, fair enough.
Now
Part of
we're
the re-
now we're
Part of the
pushing-
reason why he's starting. Part of the reason why he's starting around a line that we're not sure is going to be solidified by game one, and that's why you put a guy like Case Keenum in there.
If First Amendment had a board game and you give a spiral fracture to whoever the hell you desire,
Yeah.
I give it to you.
Hey,
I'm
the-
not gonna give
You're
him.
cool.
the
You're
injuries
cool.
that we have around here for the Redskins the last couple of years, it's pretty appropriate.
Son of a bitch.
I know, right? Sucks.
I don't know what we're going to with Case Keenum. I don't think Case Keenum will excite us, but I'm ready to embrace Case Keenum in a very like Redskins fanny kind of way. Like I think that he's better than Tony Banks.
Don't say Fanny.
I think he's better than
Don't say Fanny.
Todd Collins. You know,
Yes,
I think
yes,
he's better
yes,
than
yes,
you know what I
yes.
mean. Like he's a level up from like the kind of guy we've put on the field a lot.
I sat here last week and said to you that I really wanted it to be Dwayne Haskins because that's
Sure.
how I feel. But I also said I don't think I'm right and I'm not positive and I have no problem and I'm fully embracing Case Keenum. This is fine. This
Yeah.
is fine.
Yes.
I adore that arm strength. I adore that toy, that weapon. That's fine. We still got it. We still got it. It's not like it's going anywhere. That's fine. Case Keenum is. I don't think that's the bad choice. I'm
the right
great with it.
choice.
I like that it happened now. I think that is important to everything moving forward. That they were not doing some red skinny freaking Snyder Allen type last minute thing to get something going on a Tuesday to drum up some interest somewhere, somehow, some way, and the media winning off the field shit. I love that that was a football decision made right now.
Sure.
Clear, concise by the man. I'm
Now
with
he-
it,
He's
and I'm
the
going to go with
focus.
it.
He gets the reps.
Yes.
Haskins has to put the clipboard in his hand and
Yep.
learn.
Got no
learn,
problem
Watch
with
the
that.
film.
Yep.
Learn.
Yep. And I
Watch,
think that
soak it in. Be a
I'd like for him to
sponge.
get reps. Still, I mean, if
You need some.
if we're laying it on Philly and you bring him in to hand it off to Adrian Peterson 10 times, great.
But also, when he comes in that situation, the pressure's not there.
Sure.
You know, you're the backup. You're coming in.
I'm good with all that,
You know, you
yeah.
don't get it, right? So
I don't
it's
mean
the
like
right
I'm good,
choice.
like I'm
It's
the
right
end
choice.
all be. I'm saying from a guy who really wanted it to be
The half-
Haskins,
Yeah.
I'm very good with what's going on.
Sure.
The glass half empty approach is, well, Keenum really didn't do anything to pull himself away and really give everybody the confidence that he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
The glass half full is that we got a very capable veteran quarterback that's at the helm right now with a future behind him that is going to greatly benefit from sitting behind him, whether it's 4 games, 8 games, whatever it is, right? This is the way that, in my mind, the way I've seen the NFL evolve over the last just 4 years or so with rookie quarterbacks is They need some time to just kind of get acclimated to all of it before they're
Well,
throwing the
if
fire.
you can afford to give it to him.
But there's also always exceptions to the rule.
There are,
Deshaun
yes.
Watson was just lights out for a freaking 4 weeks, and he shouldn't have sat. But they didn't have that ability. They
But
couldn't
there's other
afford
things.
that.
I mean, you know,
each franchise is different.
Depends on
and
what
us,
the line is like. What the
of course,
what the health
but
of your
their
front
O-line, their
right?
O-line was poo, and he somehow avoided it and was a winner. But that's a different. They couldn't afford to do anything else. We got
He
Case
also
Keenum
didn't
for
finish his
$3
rookie
million.
year, did
That's what I'm saying. This is a great deal for us.
Yes, it is. It's actually prudent that we went ahead and did something like this, and it's unlike us to have this in place and then to make the decision in such a time before, and so there's no question, there's no, we've dealt with DC quarterback drama since we were born, even in the great days. This is great. I love the fact that this has been decided. This is what it is. Now let's move forward and win some football.
Yeah, because there was an alternate reality where Case Keenum and Colt McCoy were 1 and 2 without Dwayne Haskins. When we drafted Dwayne Haskins, we all went nuts, and it was great. And it was not the most expected of picks for the Redskins in the first round. Part of us believed that we were going to go into 2019 with Case Keenum and Colt McCoy. The fact that we have Dwayne Haskins in tow, to me, it's just a huge boon for this team.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great. At wide receiver, we don't need to talk about running back today. I think we're good there. I'd love to talk about wide receiver. I don't even think we need to talk about tight end. Jordan Reed's apparently going to be ready to go. We've got Vernon Davis.
Right.
Jeremy Sprinkle's looking good.
Yep.
But wide
They were more
receiver
rounded.
continues to be a position where something funny is going to happen.
Love seeing Cam Sims get a couple big plays.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys that could be a surprise. Just from the things I've been hearing, it hasn't shown yet into this preseason until this past game.
How many wide receivers are we keeping? How many wide receivers to the people on
there's
there?
a lot
How many
of
wide
stuff out
receivers are
there
we
too
keeping?
saying,
Tell me who they are.
Doc may be gone. Doxson may be gone.
Yes, but here's the problem: they're not gone because he's cut.
Yeah.
Gone because we're going to trade him for
I hope so.
for a full Ziploc bag filled with a fart.
Yes.
That's been the latest thing I've heard on the Twitter machine. What the hell do we think we're getting for him a week before the season starts?
I'm telling you, I still don't think he's wearing a Redskins jersey on week 1.
We'll see. They've been
He's
trying
not.
to trade him for 2 years.
He may not be wearing a jersey. on
Jay
week
Gruden
1.
did not sound like he was agreeing with me today. He was more on the T. Strachan side. But also, they did see him duck down and whiff something, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his deal is, if that's a personal or a business-related decision.
James Rainey says we're keeping 9 wide receivers. How?
7. He meant 7. Not, let's keep 9. I
don't know how we're keeping 9 unless you count
Steven
Donald
Sims.
Penn.
Steven
as
Sims
a
is
wide
making
receiver.
this team. Steven Sims is making this ball club.
Okay, at
He's
the
making
expense
this
of
team.
Robert Davis.
At the expense of, I don't know, but I know that listening to Gruden talk about him, you can just hear the fondness. So maybe that's his point.
But
when they go and sit down and talk about this, that maybe he's just trying to put his
Who was the guy
better
you
foot
loved?
forward.
Grant, Robert Grant.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Jay's guy for the longest time?
Ryan Grant,
Ryan.
who's
Yeah.
still in the
Ryan
league. I forget who was playing.
Remember that?
for
We
right
would
now.
Colts-
talk about
Colts
how
last
Jay
year,
would always
right?
just talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
Ryan
Colts
Signed
Grant.
with
last
someone
year.
else this year, I think. It was a 1-year deal with the Colts. Yeah, but Grant was fine as a number 4 guy. He was the guy that could learn all the spots. This core is so
Oakland.
young. He's in Oakland?
Yeah, playing for John.
For his brother. There you go. Yeah, there we go.
I know.
Man. Keep it in the family. Listen,
could be wrong.
I just want production. Your guy, Cam Sims, that you've been raving about, looked the part in the last game. He showed the explosion that I did not see last year. And I know everyone's talking about camp. I wasn't there. I'm just talking about what we see on the tube. Man, he played with a confidence. He had some swag. And I think that's what our young receivers have right now. Unproven at best.
Yeah.
But, gosh, how do you...
I think it's a big
How do you pick
question
and choose
mark
these young guys?
that could be a huge surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be
kinda have that
a
feeling,
huge
too.
variable.
I don't know who or
But-
why. I don't know why, but I do. Yeah, I
You
feel
got
that
some
way.
dogs.
Yeah.
Finally.
Hungry.
You got
Any
some
wide
dogs
receivers that
in
you would put at
room,
the
and
return
those
man?
dogs haven't been here since
Garcon.
Garcon.
Are you going to put any wide receivers in the return game? One of those can an extra guy make it as a returner?
The number probably depends on who can play special teams, right?
I think Terry McLaurin's going to play less special teams than we initially envisioned because I think he's going to play a hell of a lot of wide receiver for the Washington Redskins, and I can't wait for that. That's
I look forward to
that's
that as
sneaky.
well.
As we talk, cause Dwayne Haskins sucks a lot of air out of the room in a good way, and we talk about him a lot because we're excited about him and we think he's actually a
I
real
am
deal.
so excited about
Yes.
him. It's unreal.
And it's awesome. I mean, you can't being excited about a really good player at the quarterback position, and that's what the NFL is all about.
Yeah.
And it's totally making us forget, or it's stealing time away from Montez Sweat and Terry McLaurin. We've talked a lot about Montez Sweat. You know, I love Terry McLaurin, man. I do. I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play a lot. And I think that
fair.
Case Keenum, the beauty to me of Case Keenum, and Dwayne Haskins would fit the same bill. The beauty to me of these guys is there's no history. All the chemistry that's being created right now is being created with this group of guys. And so Terry McLaurin is in the mix. Case Keenum's going to throw it all over the place. And when Dwayne gets in, he's going to do the same thing.
And it's not like any of our receivers are so dependent on one guy for the last
That's right.
whatever.
That's right.
They're learning it together at the same time. You're right.
And it's going to be helpful, you know, for teams trying to defend us because I think we're deep without being top heavy like some teams are, you know, with like the Julio Jones and the DeAndre Hopkins of the world.
Sure.
But I think Terry McLaurin, from a production standpoint, a passing game in this day and age of the NFL with an offensive-minded head coach, someone's going to get numbers. I mean, numbers are going to happen. Someone's going to have to produce. We know who it's not been, so it's going to be exciting to see who it could be because it's going to be someone different.
No, I think if you're a betting guy, you put it on Quinn, a guy who has proven in his career.
He's got to get healthy.
I know he's young. Yes, he's got an injury problem, but he is a guy that he's just one of those guys that produces. He has produced.
He has
everywhere.
9 catches, dude.
Not yet.
No, I love him. I love him. I'm not giving you shit.
He has produced in his career. He hasn't done it here, but I just think
The number one leader-
He fits that.
The number one
mold
receiver
as
in
the
high
guy
school
to do it.
football
Yep.
and the number one receiver in college football. I will give you that. He's a production artist.
Yeah.
And he always overachieves.
Whether he can keep it up
and I
at
know
this
you
level,
love
I
him.
don't know.
No, I think he can, but he has to be on the field healthy. That it's
Right.
It stinks that we haven't seen a glimpse of him yet. Like, let's get him. Let's go. Come on. But he's not going anywhere, and he's going to have a good career here. I'm not giving you a hard time. I just obviously nervous about this spot, but I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
Yes.
I'm thrilled about our
That's
tight
where I
ends,
am.
thrilled about our running backs, happy with our quarterback situation. We all know what we're worried about. You know, we've already discussed it.
Worried
So-
about the most important part. But
and if some of these guys do click, I think this young wide receiver core is going to make plays that we haven't seen. And like you said, it's going to be team ball. It's going to be spread out throughout. Not one guy has an ego. No one's coming back to the huddle screaming at Case Keenum when he was wide open because they can go sit their ass on the sidelines for the rest of the season if they do. No one has earned that right remotely close to it. I kind of like that. It
Yep.
allows Jay to spread the ball around without having to worry about even when Deshaun and Garcon were going nuts, there was a bit of, all right, and I know I got to get it over to him. You know, it's just what O coordinators do. It's human life. It's part of the deal. You've got to get Pierre his catches, or else he's going to come to the sidelines and punch the trainer in the throat.
Right.
Deshaun's going to walk off the field and
Poor
go over to the
trainer.
sideline and start
Trainer had
texting
nothing to
someone.
do with it.
Right. Guy just happened to be right there. And Garcon was a maniac,
Yep.
which I loved about him. So that's the cool part about this wide receiving core and this running back core. Adrian Peterson taken under his wing, Darius Guy. Like,
He looks really good,
I
by
just
the way.
love the
The ball
dog
can be shared.
personality in a couple of these. young guys. I just love it.
I love that too, T.
James Rainey is going to stick
He's
with
on
his
fire
9.
tonight.
AGH wants to trade a first rounder to someone to take Doxson, which I actually. First of all, that idea is underutilized in professional sports. It happens. People do. Teams will trade. Will pay teams to take their guys. It happens in baseball all the time. Football,
It's
not
got
so
some
much.
NBA to it, yes.
Yeah, and there's definitely some NBA to it. He's trying to jam Bruce Allen into the deal somehow, which I love. But I think that on opening day against the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a massacre. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. You call me crazy. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are so great that without having played a down of football in the National Football League yet this year, that all of a sudden people are going to think that this game should be a blowout. I mean, the Eagles should be good. And guess what? They're not going to be able to do everything they want against our defense, at least initially. They're just not.
Not like they have. And this new NFL, people still have old school things in their head, like the Redskins are horrible. The Eagles won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. That doesn't leave people's brains. They automatically see that and go, oh my God, look at that.
Haters.
You got to be kidding me. Blah, blah, blah. No, this is the point differential across the board in opening day weekend. The good luck, Vegas, and good luck who's betting with your heart, not your head. How do you possibly know? Because in 3 weeks, everything you thought this week, 60% of it will be so brutally wrong that you'll be so embarrassed that you said it to your buddy at the bar or your dad or maybe your girlfriend, You're just going to be totally embarrassed about your thoughts right now that happened in 4 weeks. The good thing about us is none of us are embarrassed to say what we feel. We're ready, willing, and able to take that right on the chin when it happens in 4 weeks. And that's why we come here and say what we say.
AGH wants to know if there's any news on Wentz. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to start the season. He's probably going to look good. I think he's the kind of, to me, so I loved Carson Wentz out of college. I hate him because he went to Philadelphia. I don't root against him, in a bad way, but because of how I feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, I think a fitting punishment for being drafted and playing for the Eagles would be that if they win the Super Bowl this year, it should be with Josh McCown as quarterback. Somehow Carson Wentz won't make it. He'll oversleep and it's going to be something terrible. Your career is just cursed if you're drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Did you just wish that old Josh Graymuff McCown takes a Super Bowl down?
I think. Well, no, I'm saying
how good did he look 1 week after being in the
Graymuff
ESPN studio?
Can take it.
No, that was amazing.
It's Carson Wentz's fate.
I'm a GM guy myself.
He'll never win a Super Bowl. He'll never win a Super Bowl, but Graymuff could definitely take it down if that's what happens for the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
Captain of a pirate ship. The guy's had a subpar record for eternity.
Yep.
You're just wishing him a Super Bowl because
AGH
of Carson
also
Wentz?
just pointed out that it would be Sudfeld that we would go up against.
Nasty Nate.
That would actually be amazing.
No.
Yeah. Give us that
I will
matchup.
say I have always been very, very high on.
I played golf with him and he was a gem.
And actually, it's James Rainey is right. Sudfeld is signed by them, but he has a broken wrist. He's out for
that's right. He's done.
He's out for no. I think he's out for a month.
Really?
Month,
I thought he was
4 or
done
6 weeks.
Longer. That's right. He did. He did it in the preseason.
Graymuff is their guy. Captain. Sorry, he's a captain.
I do feel like he's the captain of a pirate ship.
He is a captain of a pirate ship, and you do not want to walk his plank.
What did Josh McCown do to you guys?
No. That's a positive quality in our world.
Graymuff?
Captain Graymuff to you, mister.
Yeah.
Show some respect.
Someday you'll figure this one out.
But he did.
But it's going to take a while.
Very good.
Apparently, that post-Disney Rowdy Bunch is gone, from what I understand.
He's not in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, although he should be. In fact, we get the licensing rights.
Pre-show talks are supposed to stay pre-game. Yeah.
Sorry, Captain.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah, you're right. You're right, AGH. We shouldn't bash Wentz yet. But I don't know that he's
I like
not 100%. I know.
I'm taking him over your Baker Mayfield. That was our question this year. And I'm taking Wentz over Mayfield.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't bring up Baker Mayfield, just so you know. I don't know you. I know how you feel.
I'm just telling you. Listen, no security guards taking down Carson Wentz. It's just not happening. I can't get it out of my mind ever.
There should be odds on if we say trigger words for Kevin. If there's Mayfield is a trigger word. We can almost write the words that are about to come out.
I'm a Mayfield guy. I just want him to have some humble before he proceeds to be great. Because right now he's on one of those, and I get it. We were all when I was his age. I was I wanted to say I'm Baker Mayfield.
He reminds me of you.
On the field, but not with that. I only talk trash to the people that talk trash to my teammates. I didn't proceed to start the trash talking ever. I didn't. I never once incited any of that. But I respect his swag, of course.
And we saw his teammates. We saw what they feel about him.
Yes, but we also have heard about his defensive teammates don't necessarily in the league, in the locker room last year, feel the same exact way because you're going to ruffle some feathers one way or another when you're that outspoken as a young buck who's unproven at this level. And you know what? He's a stud. And I totally respect his game.
If they win
and I
this
look
year,
forward to rooting for him when he humbles up.
It.
But when he's taking pictures and doing all this and calling people out, and he's always in a beef with someone, and Jones in New York,
if they get wins, the defense will come around.
This science project's going one way or the other.
I don't think he has a beef with Daniel Jones. I actually
agree.
believe Baker Mayfield was taken out of context.
I agree. But if you're talking trash in other areas and you're always outspoken, blah,
he's
blah,
a target
he's going to come back and get you. Exactly.
He's a target for media, no doubt.
Be a leader.
And I'm
run your
usually
team.
not on those guys' side, but for some freaking reason, this guy I think is different.
I've been
think
saying
he's
that from day
different.
one. I just want him to have a little humble
He's
to
this
get to the
dog
next
that
level.
I'm talking about.
I know, and
He's
I
a
love that.
dog.
And I love that.
You guys, I was the Baker Mayfield guy in the basement. You guys
I was
gave me
with you.
crap.
You're right.
I mean, I said he was number
No,
one
you're
quarterback
right.
in the draft.
Yeah,
And I said
that-
so,
I thought
too.
it was crazy.
We all love Baker Mayfield. We all know what we see. Our
Right,
eyes do not
yes.
fail us, and he is the real deal.
I feel like I'm his uncle right now, not his naysayer. What
Okay.
I'm saying is greatness is all around him. It's right there, and he has a huge opportunity. So keep your mouth shut and be great.
This is Let
Let Odell do the talking.
Step Brothers. He's like, I like to picture
That is true.
my Jesus in a tuxedo T-shirt, rocking out to Van Halen. I like to picture my Baker Mayfield, in a cutoff T-shirt, throwing the ball 100 yards down the field like Uncle Rico.
I want my Baker Mayfield not ostracizing 35-year employees of the NFL, veterans on other teams and on his defense, and taking pictures of refs and blah, blah. And I don't want mall security taking him down in a freaking 10-yard.
Or we need to hire the mall security guy. I mean,
Fair enough.
Where I'm at.
We
Let's
have
just
no
find
idea
out who
the
this guy
talent in
is.
that guy.
It might have been Jonathan Allen. I'm not sure. I mean, who knows? He could have been moonlighting.
Paul Blart came out there and just stuck him in the ear hole.
I have a lot of respect for Paul Blart. I might be alone there, but I think he's a next level security guard.
So what's that going to segue to? Stop it right now. Don't even come back at me.
How much I love malls?
Yeah.
I know what my trigger word triggers me, but we don't have to talk about it. I want to talk about malls, Disney World,
And food courts.
and
Don't mention Disney to Ken.
I do love some Disney.
Good God.
Lord.
What a horrible conversation.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at him.
It's like now I know what Scrooge does in the Christmas off season. He poo-poos Disney.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well,
All right, what are we? We're a week and a half.
We're a week and a half out. We're 12
week and a
days
half
out.
away.
I do want to say, watch this game. This preseason game coming up. It's hard. It's gonna be. It's not the easiest game I want to
Guys that are
watch.
just trying to make it.
I love this
Watch
game.
those guys. Watch those
I love this
guys
game.
try to get that last chance. This may be the last time they ever put a uniform on for some of them. That's what's cool about this game, I think, especially
It's-
the fact that they don't have to cut down the rosters anymore until after.
We all like watching football. We watch it at every level. We watch youth football, high school football, college football. I watch pro football. Preseason is not wins or losses. I get it. It's not things aren't. The Super Bowl isn't on the line. Playoffs aren't on the line. I get it. But it's good. It's good football because jobs are on the line. It's the Redskin logo on the helmet. It's a HD production. Hey, it's almost as good in many ways as the First Amendment Sports internationally broadcast, production. We're going to get one of these preseason games eventually, T. I mean, you're on charge of that, by the way.
Joe Theismann has permanent static on his mic. That's how it sounds in my ear.
I can't. Yeah. Well, that era has to roll at some point because it's not working for me anymore.
No, it's not great.
It's not working for me anymore, Joe. Sorry, buddy.
And he should be our beloved. People probably think that he is like
I didn't
the
like him in Monday
quarterback
Night
we
Football.
love
I didn't like him on Monday Night Football.
in our franchise.
Did you?
Our
Did you like him?
our moms taught us not to love
He's the
him
closest
many
thing to
moons ago.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
a
that's true.
franchise quarterback.
I
that we
remember
had.
hearing it.
And our moms made us hate
Grandmas,
him because of the way that he
Aunts,
treated Kathy.
yes, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Never treat a woman like that. Like that was the barometer of how I was raised as a young man. Had to be a gentleman to not be like Joe Theismann.
You imagine how much he
And-
would be hated in an era if he grew up in an era of social media.
I mean, how about his true T? And how about the swag before himself? His name was Joe Theismann.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we just haven't gotten over this. I think about it every
Yeah.
time his name is said. He
It's
changed it
Joe
to rhyme with
Theismann.
Heisman. He didn't win the Heisman.
He didn't win it.
But he won't go away.
Name another award
always
that someone
there.
could change their name to that didn't win it that we wouldn't be like, what a dick.
I know.
I mean, seriously. Like, that's how we. Now, also, he was damn good for us. So I'm not going to act
Yeah, he
like
was.
what he did on the field. And he was a great athlete.
If
Blah,
he
blah,
just
blah.
wasn't such
And now
a
he's being paraded around. And,
D, he'd probably be.
Hold on. AGH's
more
favorite
more
player of
revered.
all time is Joe Theismann. So I hope we're not changing any
Sorry,
of this.
but I
AGH.
would like to be called Karen Mary
have a long discussion about that,
Hewlitzer
my
from
friend.
now
But that's
on.
how he was introduced across the pond.
get it.
And he's a winning guy. He just, let's just say he wasn't, he wasn't a great gentleman.
We will leave it at that because AGH is going to defend his guy.
AGH is a great gentleman.
and AGH
We'll
is
leave
a
it
greater
That's
gentleman.
a fact. That's a fact.
A greater
Leave it at
gentleman.
that.
And Joe Theismann has grown up a little bit, I think, since back in the, early 80s when we were taught this. So I'm just saying. But that was the rule of thumb. And I'm glad to hear
That
that.
was
That was
funny, Andrew.
That was the thing in all of our
Oh no, I
houses.
was everyone. It's like the first thing I knew about.
too.
Was
Me
that
too.
he did a bad thing to mistreated a woman.
But what a thing about a family, because family first with the
Yeah.
Redskins. You all sit around with your family and we watch it. That's what you did. That's what you did. That's what I did. I imagine this is what we all do, and we get to do it now with this family of ours, which I love. This basement posse, and that was one of the first things. And how interesting is that?
Didn't watch. I know we didn't watch Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby in my house at any given time ever. But yeah,
I did watch Naked Gun with my family. I'm not gonna lie. And
Nordberg.
I love you too, Nordberg.
I love you too, Nordberg. But yeah, that's gonna be. We should put a pin in that and remember that, because I think that should be a great mess around segment. Is actors that are somewhat beloved for what they did, and then all of a sudden, like later, something happened. You're like, oh my god, we can never speak of this again.
Hold on.
Like Bill Cosby, for example. I mean, like you're talking about I'm talking about the big ones. You know,
the Howard Cosell picture with Ahmad Rashad getting married, and two of his
God.
groomsmen are Bruce Jenner and O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
And the caption is, 30 years from now in the future, you're not going to believe this shit.
No. I mean, and Michael Jackson's music gets like more and more poo-pooed depending on where you go and who's in charge of the iPod.
Oh,
Do people still use iPods? Is that a thing? All right, just making sure. All right, listen, we're going to be back again next week to lead into what will be our regular season coverage of the Redskins, called After the Whistle. I believe it's going to be season 4. I'm going to go back and double check that.
I've been saying 4 years forever, but you always cut it by a year and a half. I think it's trying to, your youthful optimism.
16, 17, 18, 19.
As the youngest guy of the group, I do appreciate that, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm just a whippersnapper.
It was RG3's second year that we started.
No.
Third. I didn't admit it till the third.
RG3 was 2012. We started podcasting in November of 2015.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
we were all in for week 4 that year, I believe.
Yes, all in. Well, no, we weren't.
We did not start the season.
Yeah, we didn't. We weren't here for
came
opening
halfway
day.
through.
But we were in late November.
Yeah, but we weren't GM then. We were.
That's true. Oh, and then then those shows are lost forever. Someone stole my computer.
That's right.
That's true.
They're in
India
somewhere.
There's hey, listen, AGH,
I
James
hope we're a
Rainey,
huge hit over there.
Eric Anderson. If anyone who's watching
There's
this
some
show
other shows that weren't ever released that
Ever
maybe
goes
have
over
been
to
hit
India.
at some time.
See if you can find these shows. There's like 4 weeks of.
There's some
of this.
gems.
It's actually. I would love to listen to those. It's like the first 4 weeks.
There are some like 1:30 a.m. takes.
Oh yeah, on a computer in India somewhere. I had no idea.
Would be worth money maybe finding.
Oh yeah, maybe we don't want people to find it, but one day we decided to get together on a Tuesday night, and a bottle and a half of whiskey later, we were like, let's do this every
record
Tuesday
more.
forever. But that obviously this is iced tea. We rarely touch the stuff anymore. That's just a thing of the past.
Prop.
Yeah, total prop. Regular season's here, guys. It'll be here. Our eyes are set on Philadelphia. The Eagles are all we're focused on.
Next week's a pregame show.
Next week is a pregame show. We'll be covering week 1 ahead of time. So please join us. Come on back in 1 week from now. Until then, he's Tim Strachan.
Hey, enjoy the high school. Enjoy the college this weekend. Let's get this started again next week. Get this Redskins season really going. I can't wait.
He's Kevin Ricca.
Let's get through this excruciating final week of preseason, and cheers to what's coming up. Hey, college football's coming. We get a taste of some of the guys that we're going to have on the team the next year. I cannot wait. And I'm going to watch my ass off on Thursday for you, Ken.
I appreciate that.
Right.
No need to rewatch it, but yeah, just give it a listen. James, I appreciate. James has got a guy in India. He's going to get started searching 500 million people immediately.
James has a demon apparently too. That's jumping on his keyboard. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
weird,
let
but
any demons.
He's been on fire tonight.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thanks, Hawks Haven. Thank you to. I want to say thank you to Andrew Luck one more time.
Yeah, no, that's why I grabbed my glass.
I
I was
think
going to do one more toast.
Go out the way we came in.
To Mr. Luck.
You know, and then all the guys
Good luck
like
to you,
him.
Mr. Luck.
Yeah, you know.
We're wishing a brilliant man with $100 million who's 29 years old starting a family up.
Gonna be all
Good
right.
luck.
Hey, you're gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay.
This guy's gonna make another $100 million not playing football. Good luck
You know
out
what?
there.
You know what?
son.
We should be the first ones to call him for an endorsement and for money
that's
to
true.
help support First Amendment sports. That'll be his
fair.
first business venture.
It's gonna be okay. Until next week, I'm Ken Marangolo,
Tough
and this
out there.
was the Audible.
Hope he makes it.
Hope he makes it. He just might make it. All right, we're still live.
Guys, great job tonight. Great discussion. Great discussion.
It just
Good
makes
stuff.
it makes it fun as shit, is what it is. I love it.
Tell your friends.
Tell friends.
See you next week.